Okay, so today we're making a great make-ahead brunch or breakfast dish, frittata. Basically, think of it as kind of like a crustless quiche. Right now at the market, I'm getting lots of leeks and lots of fresh sorrel, so that's what we're going to use here today. So in my pan here, I have a little bit of canola oil, just warming up. I'll just turn it up a touch. You can use canola oil, you can use butter, you can use olive oil, you can use duck fat, you can use bacon fat, whatever's kicking around, and whatever makes you happy. So while this is heating up, I also have my oven turned to 350 degrees because we will be finishing that off in the oven. I'm going to add my leeks to start off with that we've chopped up. And we do have a pro tip technique video on how to chop up the leeks and wash those. Just going to give them a stir around here. And like always, we're going to start seasoning right away, building those flavors. Now, the frittata does have cheese in it, so depending on what kind of cheese you're using, you might not want to add too much salt at the beginning. I'm adding a gouda, an aged gouda, not too salty. But if you're going to add something like a feta cheese, that would go great in here. That's brined a little bit. You might want to cut back a little bit on the cheese, or sorry, on the salt at the beginning here. And all I'm doing is I'm just cooking this just to soften it up. I'm not trying to add any color. And that little bit of salt we added will help pull out some moisture from the leeks and help prevent any browning. While that's going, I have 6 eggs here. And I'm just going to start whisking these up. Now this, when it's done, I get 4 nice big wedges out of it. So it can serve 2 to 4 people. For breakfast, you know, sometimes it's nice with a side of sausage, maybe some bacon, or even on its own, or during the week when we're in a hurry, we can just microwave it. So you kind of, you know, brunch, I might add a salad with it to make it a little bit more brunchy. So there's a lot of versatility to this. Now I'm just adding my chopped up sorrel. If you don't have sorrel, arugula would be great in here as well, spinach, Swiss chard. I really like the sorrel. This is kind of the first year I've really gotten into cooking with a lot of sorrel. And that all just came from actually sitting down with a local farmer and just talking to him. And one of the things he really loved was the sorrel. And it has a hard time selling it. So I'm like, hey, I'm going to come up with some recipes for you. And this is one of them. You know, we also did a potato sorrel soup, a sorrel pesto. We've done an Ingredients Matter video on the sorrel as well. And it has a nice, you know, a nice little zing to it that cuts through the eggs really well, especially, you know, farm fresh eggs that are nice and rich. It's a great complement to the eggs, so it works great in this recipe. Back to my bowl here, 6 eggs I've whisked up. I've added about a 1/4 cup of milk. You want something a little bit richer, you go ahead and you put yourself a little bit of cream in there instead. Going to season this up as well. Always season as we go. So my leeks in my pan here, nice and soft, a little bit of translucency. The sorrel's cooked down. Now we are going to add our eggs. So what I want to do at this point here is I'm just going to clear down the sides a little bit. And I'm just going to let it start cooking. Again, we're on about a medium-high heat here. Just want to make sure that's spread out nice as well. And I'm just kind of pulling it away from the sides because this will make it easier to release from the pan when we're done cooking. So it's actually starting to, you can see a little bit on the bottom, it's starting to set up here. So we're just going to give it another couple of minutes on the top. Now some other things you can add in here, I really love some chopped up sun-dried tomatoes in this particular recipe, and they would go really well with if you used feta cheese in here. You could crumble up some sausage. You could do a lot of different things in here. So this is almost kind of set along the bottom. It's still pretty loose on the top. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to add my cheese. Get that all around. Make sure it's all covered. I'm going to turn off the heat. I'm just going to give it one more. You can kind of, hopefully you can see on there how this is just pulling away from the sides of the pan here. Now this is ready to go into my preheated 350-degree oven. Okay, so our frittata's been in the oven, for about 10-12 minutes now. And just by touching it, I can tell that it's nicely set up. There's no more of that kind of raw egg custardy jiggle to it. There's a little bit of softness, but that's just from the melted cheese on the top. So we are going to take this out of the pan, but for now, I just want to leave it in to cool a little bit. But before I do that, I'm just going to take my spatula, and I'm just going to make sure it is nice and loose. I can kind of get underneath, nothing's stuck under there, so that it does cool. It's going to be easier to pop out when it's cool. If you wanted to serve it right away, you could cut it in here and scoop it out, but I'm going to put this on a plate, and I'm going to use it for tomorrow. So there it is, nice and good. We'll let this cool for about 10-12 minutes, and then we'll come back and turn it out. Okay, so we've let our frittata rest. It's been about 10-12 minutes to cool it down. And now the moment of truth, we're just going to slide it out onto our cutting board like so. Get our pan out of the way. Now, all I do with this at this point is I cut it into 4, like so. Now, you could serve this, like I say, right away. Maybe, a little bit of sausage, bacon for breakfast, a little bit of salad for lunch would be nice. A little bit of salad and smoked salmon, now that I'm looking at it, would be awesome in here. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to transfer these once they're fully cooled to a plate, saran it, throw it in the fridge, and then in the morning we have ourselves a really quick breakfast. What I do is I just put, we have a wedge each. I put it on a plate in the microwave for about a minute, just to kind of take the edge off. I don't want it too hot, and I don't want to overcook it. And then we're good to go. We have a nice, quick, healthy breakfast. So there it is. We have this beautiful frittata with sorrel, leeks, some local cheese, farm fresh eggs. Enjoy, try different fill-ins, have some fun with it.